Greetings from Estonia and greetings from eGovernance Academy. My name is Arvo Ott. I'm Director of eGovernance Technology of eGovernance Academy of Estonia. I was working many years in government, and now I will just tell a little bit about some frameworks and experience of what we got from Estonian government, also about what we got from many projects we are running in different parts of the world. And one of the reasons why eGovernance Academy was starting in 2002 was that many delegations and many contacts from abroad was asking us the same questions. Questions were about what was done differently in Estonia to have fast development of electronic governance and electronic government. And government was not so able to answer all those questions, so eGovernance Academy was formed in 2002, and we have now members from different former government institutions, former political level people, but also lawyers and e-government people who are telling their own story. So we are focusing on very much on our own experiences, what we got from Estonia. And now we are working abroad in different countries, being non-profit, non-business organization, but also non-government. So we are just transferring our experiences from Estonia and from abroad to different other countries. And today we are working already in more than 130 countries, so it's experience what we got in Estonia from Estonia is valuable for many countries. So, but of course we have to start from beginning, and we always important topic is what's the motivation, why people need to have access to electronic government services. This is picture from Estonia. Winter time, sometimes we have problem that to travel from one point to another, and it's obvious that to get services online, people need this service. And then it's not too big effort to explain why technology can help our life. But of course it's today a question about also pandemic, where people are not able to travel so easily, and it's very clear that electronic service and e-government is valuable and needed. Of course, a few of examples to explain what was behind Estonian development and what were the main building blocks we were focusing on many years. So one example is from electronic service side, so electronic administration and electronic services. So we started already in 2004 to offer parental benefit, applying it from e-service and transferring money to their account of mother or father of a child who was born. So parental benefit means shortly that by the law of Estonia, mother or father will get 18 months after delivery of child the same salary like she got before delivery of child. But the complexity here is that you need to integrate 5 different building blocks. So you have to integrate the register of social insurance board, you have to integrate population register where child is registered after birth from a hospital. Also you have to get data from health insurance fund, and also tax administration, because tax administration know how much was paid for the lady before delivery of child. So, and of course at the end that money is transferred to the bank account of the lady or the husband. So you need to integrate those building blocks. So it's obvious that to build this electronic service you need some secure framework and secure data exchange to connect those blocks. So it is one of the examples where we also explain what are the basic building blocks government should have. And today this service, of course, was used already many years, but today it's called proactive service. It means that you don't need even to apply the service because government has this data already. Government simply asks that if you are happy to receive this payment to your bank account, and that's the only thing what you should do is that say yes or no. But it's an example about electronic services, and in this service also you need to think about electronic identification of person, and of course also secure data exchange and privacy. Second example is about electronic participation. We are using already many years internet voting, and it was starting already in 2005. So obvious again that this type of service is good, especially when you are having restriction of traveling, like in pandemic at the moment, but also maybe climate and many other reasons. But it's showing that if you build this framework around different IT systems in government, including also legislation and organization, you can offer very different services, and it seems that those services are becoming more and more popular among the people. But now, shortly, what is behind of this story? When we are just talking about the electronic government in Estonia, it's always we have to think about organization, we have to think about legal framework, we have to think about financing of systems and technical architecture. And we are also talking about strategy. From very beginning, we had discussion what might be the main aim of development of technologies in the government. And of course, it's obvious that it's about efficiency and transparency, but also economic competition and economic growth of society. And third, but last but not least, it's also people like to use technologies. So there are different targets in strategies and policies. And when we studied in Estonia, we were discussing about different principles, info-political principles, we can say so. So it's, of course, citizens' orientation. Today we are talking about once only principle. It means that you don't need to give the same data many times to government. And it's shortly saying that your back office systems are integrated, you need to have your electronic identity to access the data, you need to have some portal or mobile device to access the data, but in practice you don't need to visit different offices. So it's once only principle has been one of the pillars, and of course it took some time, but today all the systems are integrated already in a safe and secure way. Second principle has been about leading role of private sector, and it shortly means that the government should avoid to build data centers or development offices in government. Data centers, of course, it's obvious that every government has data centers, but all the system development should be given to the private sector. And it was very important decision in Estonia, because we are encouraging and helping our small businesses also to develop and use new technologies and get some experiences. And today those small businesses are already growing, and they are just working abroad in different countries. Of course, efficiency, transparency of government, it's a very clear principle. Protection of personal data, and here I would emphasize that the trust building between citizens to use citizens and government to use electronic services is so important, but it also takes a long time. So protection of personal data, we should focus on technical means, but also organization and legal topics. And of course, measures against digital divide, it means that you should be able to offer electronic services to all different groups in societies. We have examples from digital identity where we decided that everybody have exactly the same digital identity, starting from ID cards and offer it for all the people in Estonia. And one example more, it's neutrality about technologies. It here has been that focused to avoid vendor lock situation. So in government organizations, we are using different technologies. Yeah, of course, one of the important issues is organization. When e-governance academy is working abroad, we often see that this organization of and coordination of e-government is not in place or is weak. So it means that you need to have tools and organization to cooperate with all the ministries and cooperate also with private sector to offer these platforms to build electronic services. And in this case of Estonia, our developments in e-government are very much decentralized. So it means that all the ministries are running their own systems, but the coordination and planning in central level. And today this organization and ministry is Ministry of Economic Affairs and Communication, who is doing central coordination. So this organizational picture is so important, and also when working in different countries, we try to start from this understanding of how organization is built in the country. Yeah, only a few examples about legal regulations. Those laws have been developed already a long time ago, starting from databases law, which is now joined to public information law, which is regulating data management. We have to think about Digital Signature Act, which is important to sign different electronic documents, both in government, but also even more important in private sector. And of course, personal data protection legislation, which focusing on privacy issues and regulations, how you can protect the electronic data of people. One favorite topic, and actually many countries are looking at those experiences and examples from Estonia, is about secure data exchange. So when we have different databases and systems in different locations and different organizations, we need to get data from different sources, and you need to build some secure data exchange based on this data what is existing, but also in coordinated way and protected way from privacy point of view. So this example is about secure data exchange in Estonia. E-Governance Academy is working with the same frameworks and technology concepts in many countries of the world. It means that you can build some very secure system using simple internet access, joining together different existing technologies and building blocks, and enabling fast development of services. So this back office integration is one of the pillars of electronic service delivery. But of course, to access the service, you need to have electronic identification, which in the case of Estonia, we have started from electronic ID cards, and now more and more popular technologies are in mobile IDs and smart IDs, but you still need to open those services using at least one first time ID cards certificates, and we are using strong identification and strong digital signing mechanism to build this access to the services and sign different documents. So this is one of those like favorite topics. Many countries are looking at experiences, and we are happy to share this experience from Estonia. And of course, we have to think about shared services. Basically, we have to agree about electronic identities. We have to manage metadata. We have to agree about address system and data protection. Many countries are looking at solutions using cloud technologies. I mentioned already data exchange, but also we have to talk about service portals, payment gateways, and mobile gateways. So all those different building blocks were done in Estonia already some 20 years ago, and the responsibilities who is running those different technology components is agreed in central government level. Yes, and maybe one more example, it's about metadata management. What we learned also in Estonia, that from starting of building of electronic services, you need to manage metadata. It means that you need to know what systems you have in your country, what services you have in government, who are the person who are responsible in these services, description of services, etc., etc. So it means that you need to be aware of what you have, and based on this information you can also plan next steps and actions. But from other side also, it's very valuable when you are building new services and you need this data. So those more technology examples from Estonia, if somebody might be interested more deep, the technical description of those, all those descriptions are also available in government of Estonia. And maybe some lessons learned. So what we learned in many countries, also in Estonia, is that the main challenge is in organization and planning, not so much about money and technology. So technology, what we know how to do it, but how to make changes in organizations, how to focus on change management, this has been most challenging in Estonia, but also in many other countries. Second, we think that all knowledge should be in a country. So it means that it's not possible to transfer any technologies and concepts to the country if they don't have local businesses and local support in technology side as well. So when we are working with e-governance academy, we try to first of all transfer this knowledge about the technology and frameworks to build electronic government. We think also that local IT businesses should be supported. It has been important because most developments in technology are done usually by private sector. And this is one of the pillars we think that it's important to be focused. Next topic, we learned that actually government is not very much academic issue. Even our name is e-governance academy, but we are solving and we are helping with very pragmatic topics, not so much about the academic issues. Too much focus on technology and project-based actions. I mentioned already, but there are also processes and long-term aims which are not project-based, so it's also important. How to motivate people to use technologies. So it need to think about how much you ask money from end users, and you need to motivate citizens to start to use more and more electronic services because their impact and benefits are coming in a case a lot of people are using electronic services. Also, it's not possible to copy-paste e-government from Estonia to another country. So what we learned also that we can use some methodology how to transfer this knowledge, but not exactly the systems themselves. So you need always update and customize technologies if you work in some other countries. And again, one important issue is about e-government implementation takes time. And sometimes we see that politicians are not so much motivated because the time of political power of this politician is not 10 years, but usually less. So it means that you need to think about the long-term impact, not 3 or 5 years, but longer. And also driving forces are sometimes unclear. In Estonia, very much business sector, banks have been focusing on driving the processes. So it's about cooperation with private sector. So it was shortly some lessons what we learned in Estonia and abroad about different frameworks and implementation of electronic government. And last but not least, we encourage you and call you to join Estonian conference next year. May 10th to 12th. So we hope to see also people from your country to joining our conference next spring. So thank you very much, and happy to be with you. Thank you.